What's going on, guys? We'll get started in just a minute from now. Just give me a quick sound check. Let me turn the background noise down a little bit. How's the mic? How's the background noise? Nice. All right. Clear and loud. All right. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Let me grab something to drink, and we should be good to go. All right. One sec. Sorry about that. No background noise. Let me turn up the background a little bit. It's lo-fi YouTube. Bear with me. 1 second. Okay, I'm just gonna adjust this. Cool. All right. 1 sec. Where are we? Okay. How's the background noise now? Can you hear the no background noise still? Any better? A little background noise? Some noise? Okay, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I'll give everyone another minute or two. I asked you guys to put your submissions in for the little raffle that we're gonna do, and that ended at 10 o'clock. Seems fine. Okay, what's going on? Hopefully you guys are doing well. Got a couple different screens up. What is this? Direct cancel. Make some adjustments. I'm stalking the NQ right now, but the current low in progress is not that attractive, so we'll give it a moment. Anyway, sound is good. Good morning. I am. Hopefully I'm cropped properly. All the screens are good. What up? You know what? Just give me 1 second. Sorry about that. I was making some adjustments in the background, and I was supposed to get up and get a drink. Give me 1 second, and I'll be right back with you. All right. And we're back. Show some books from the library. Let me get myself all comfy. All right. Good morning. How's everybody doing? So I was supposed to go live yesterday, obviously, and then had some last minute scheduling changes, which is something that when you have a child, I guess you just get used to. But anyway, we're here. We're live. Thank you guys for obviously showing up. Got a little bit of a bonus going it's a giveaway at 10:30. So at 10:30, we'll check the price of BTC, and then we'll look back at the comments, and whoever was closest to the price of BTC will win $200. So you could either take that in stables or BTC or whatever. Before we get started, as a reminder, none of this is financial advice, strictly for entertainment purposes only. Shout out to the sponsors of the stream. That is Bybit. Bybit, I posted earlier. I think that during the next market cycle, that Bybit takes major market share from Binance, and we see that Bybit is probably the number 1 exchange. It's for a bunch of reasons. They lead by spot volume, so if you just consider everybody outside of Binance, and I think Binance will lose a significant amount of market share as I think events continue to unfold and they continue to remain under scrutiny. And I think that we're still waiting for sort of the other shoe to drop with respect to how they are treated by regulators. So Bybit leads by spot volume, derivative volume, and options volume second to obviously Deribit, and Deribit owns a major amount of market share when it comes to options. But the other alternatives are, like, in terms of just the leading exchanges, OKX. And OKX is very locked down right now as well with KYC. But for those of you that can sign up, there is a link below, and there's deposit bonuses up to 30K. But I was just talking with the team this morning, and they're actually going to create a new promotion sort of bonus structure for my streams specifically. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, put it on alerts, and we'll keep you updated. So just as a reminder, these streams are my intention of, my whole purpose behind these streams is to basically just trade. It's actually going to start building along down here. It's to trade during these streams. And there's a lot of times when I would hop on a stream and just talk about high time frame and just look at charts, and that shit just gets boring. So I think one of the best things we could do is actually I think turn these streams into more trading streams, and I think you guys will gain a lot more from that. I'm kind of off my tempo right now because I was interrupted this morning by a tree cutting service. Completely forgot about them. You forget about a lot of things when I guess when you become a new dad. So forgive me if I'm kind of off the ball right now with the introduction and the beginning of this. Let me close that out. I shouldn't be in any trades right now until I get all this stuff out of the way. We'll take a look at, obviously, what I'm looking at on your screen right now. I should just hold this long, but let me get all this stuff out of the way. Coinbase right now, like right off the open, so $80 to $87. I think that if Coinbase is doing anything like this, for example, that you don't want to be short BTC. I don't know why it's doing this. I don't know why we have such a big jump off the open. It looks like there hasn't been any real significant coin news, until you go back to yesterday. So it's kind of odd. It's up today. It's up 8% off the open. And the point is, I think that it's possible, and I said this, maybe it was a month or so ago now, and it was about this was I believe pre-ETF announcement, actually. There was really weird options activity, August 18th 80 strike calls. Just saw a crazy amount of pickup in activity and open interest, and it was almost like it was a insider sort of leading indicator of things to come. Sure enough, BlackRock announced their intention to list an ETF, and and those calls clearly paid off. I think the last time I checked, wow, that's big. I'm gonna actually go ahead and start building a little bit of a long down here. So as far as the NQ goes, we completely traversed yesterday's value. We're at the low of yesterday's value. Looks like we have some signs of absorption down here. Good amount of selling. Buyers look like they're starting to turn it on again. So we'll see if we can get a bounce up through at least today's opening range. If we start reclaiming today's opening range, then we'll look to get more aggressively long. If this comes back to 15,120 and we see a rebid down there, I'll probably just add another contract to this. I'm going to keep these streams light in terms of positioning. So, especially yesterday, I'm coming off of a pretty nice loss. Add to that. Yesterday, I ended up taking a pretty nice loss just because I was trading. I was very distracted. And I was continuing to trade, which was a moronic thing to do. All right, so that makes sense. We have Vanguard with over 7 trillion. Vanguard's massive. Deciding to take a 10% stake in Riot, which is a mining platform. Let's take a look at Riot. I mean, Riot's not even doing much for the day. Is that new news or no? When did that news come out? Give the chat a second to catch up. So it looks like there's a decent amount of firming down here. Needs to hold 15,120, I think. 1.5 hours ago. Okay. BTC still back in center of weekly value. So yesterday's move it looked like it was entirely derivative led. Give this a second, see if we get a rebid, maybe add another contractor. Yesterday's move was like entirely derivative led. There was like 10K BTC added in a matter of an hour. Glitch hunting. If we get a spike or we're done. Yeah, I think it was 10K BTC added in a matter of an hour. One final move below the low. Just got to get back above 15,120. Otherwise, I'm just going to cut it. And I'm not trading with full size, so I'd be willing to add and build a swing down here, but this position's underwater as it is. What time is it? 10:15? Where's coin at now? 86. Come on, hold. Data platform is Levitas. Oh, so what is better than Levitas? Amber data. Amber for sure. So Amber is predominantly, it's an options analytics platform. I think if I should add to this or just leave this as it is. Got in a little bit early. Push. Yesterday's POC is kind of a sticky spot. It's kind of a poor entry, honestly. Yeah, Ember Data is great. Ember Data has futures data, and it has an amazing options analytics platform. We're set up. Sweet. So, pre-market session, we spent most of the time above yesterday's close, built up a significant amount of value, and just completely traversed yesterday's value in one sort of fell swoop. So strong move down, but I don't know if we get any kind of further splash from here. Looks like the S&P was showing a decent amount of strength. Let's see if we get a spike up. Just want back inside today's opening range. I'm just gonna close this out because I'll wait for that setup. So 10 points off of that, but that was an ugly entry. So because it's tough to talk and trade at the same time, I feel like I was mumbling. So this is today's opening range. We're looking at 15,140 and then all the way up to, and it's a 30-minute opening range, so it's closed out now. Up to what is essentially the high. So right up here, that's pre-market high, excuse me. After RTH, the regular trading hours, we rotated higher. And again, one big strong move down so far through yesterday's value. So you have sort of an 80% setup here. Now we're back in the center of, not center of, but now we're back building within yesterday's value, above yesterday's POC, back within today's opening range. So if we remain bid back here, so if we remain bid back within here, I'll look to add some kind of intraday swing to this, or build some kind of intraday swing. I was in position, but I don't know. I feel like I wasn't paying enough attention to the chart and more attention to trying to give the intro. So let's take a look at the other. Let's take a look at the chart that I was referring to. When I was talking about BTC. So we'll give this a second. We're back in the opening range, but offered at 15,150. All right, so let me move this. Show you guys what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about, and this is why I shorted. So I shared this. I shared the short yesterday on Twitter, real time. I think I shorted right. I shorted right here, and mainly because there was really no reason for the move. So this is yesterday's candle. Really no reason for the move. It wasn't like there was any kind of news or anything. Wasn't the case that it was spot led. It was, again, much of this was just futures positioning. So give that a second. So this is a move right here. Where the fuck is, hold on, sorry. This is the move right here, and this is the open interest I was talking about. So between like, what was it? Between 38 and I think 31 is when you had the bulk of this added. So yeah. So if we look at this candle right here, squash the CVDs, squash the funding. So from here up is where all of this came in. So again, into a key level, so into weekly value area high. It looks like the NQ is now trading higher, into the weekly value area high. So again, an important region you'd look for either absorption or acceptance through. Like I said earlier, no real catalyst behind the move, no news, just some really odd behavior towards the close of the New York session. So I think this was around like 4 p.m., which was weird, and I was trying to identify sort of what maybe the impetus behind it was. And if you guys remember yesterday, there was some talk from a large asset manager or a bank about the price of BTC and it possibly hitting 120K or 50K by the end of the year. I can't remember who exactly that was, but that was, I think, reiterated on CNBC maybe around the time of the close. So there was just some weird buying activity, sort of the same activity you might see in Legacy when there's like MOC orders, so market on close orders. Just stood out, but nevertheless, it was not spot led. It was a lot of derivative positioning that built up, and a lot of means, we're looking at just in aggregate 231,000 BTC, and then we reached 242, and on Binance alone, I think there was 10K plus BTC. So just a very crowded trade. And as I've said before, with this particular situation, it's just a matter of losing the VWAP for that positioning. Beginning to lose where most of that positioning was concentrated. So if you're using like a POC or VWAP, or if you're looking more finer details like footprint charts, then you'll be able to identify again where a bulk of activity comes in and where most of that risk is isolated or where most of it's positioned. And this is just a really good example of it's just that's just Coinbase only CVD, which I think is relevant right now considering the way coin is trading. And I think that Coinbase is sort of the preferred fiat on-ramp of institutions. But so I don't have Binance CVD on that. Otherwise, the CVD would look way flatter. But it'd be down only either way. But what was I saying? It's just a case of a bunch of positioning built up into a pocket, and all you need to do is begin to lose that positioning slightly for it to begin to unwind. And what I said yesterday, I said on Twitter, I said, free alpha, there's more to it. But you could use things like open interest delta. So open delta being the difference, right? So closing or opening mounts. And if you isolate just for, let's say, if you want to just start with 10,000 BTC, do a back test and see what happens every time 10,000 BTC worth of positioning builds up in, let's say a half hour's time, an hour's time. See what happens after that. And then begin to refine, if this happens through a level versus into a level. So if this happens where we break out versus where we just hit support or resistance, and you'll begin to see that this is often a pretty easy setup to get behind. So in this case, the setup being the short that I took. In this case, for example, some context, again, like I said, not through a level, into weekly value. It's still in the middle of a range for the most part. If we look at this sort of from a, should have held that long, from a structural standpoint. So it's not like price really went anywhere. If you go from high to low of the range, so instead of like the value area high, value area low, if we just base it on structure alone, so from tippy top to the bottom, it's not like it was a breakout by any means. It was just an exciting move, more or less at mid-range. And before that move, if we just show a volume profile for this structure, again, up into the value area high. If this was on news, if this was like news catalyst driven with a spot bid as well, it might be something to actually buy into, right? It's not always the case when you have that amount of positioning that it needs to get purged in X amount of time in the next half hour after, in the next day after. Might be the case that you'll have a much larger amount of positioning build up before we ever come back to test that out. Anyway, so I should have held that long down here. Like I said, these streams, I want these streams to be, and they're live, so it's like, it is what it is, you know, no cuts. There's going to be mistakes and periods where I kind of just lose my focus, because trading and streaming at the same time is actually pretty damn difficult. I know, like, you might see streamers try to make it seem like it's easy. It is very difficult, honestly, if you're trading actual size, to remain very focused about something that is one of the most difficult things to do, and then to stream at the same time, narrate it, all that. So there'll be times when I'm streaming where I just pull myself out of position quickly. And for example, like, that was a good position. And it was mostly because I just wasn't even ready to, like, get into the stream. But anyhow, let's talk about this real quick, because all these things are relevant to BTC. As far as, like, positioning in BTC goes, and in crypto, because again, there's only a very little bit of the screen real estate that's dedicated to crypto. I don't see any real reason to change anything still. I do think that we're going to just continue to more or less carve out a larger range. I don't think we're looking at, like, the beginning crazy leg of a bull market. But that being said, and I posted the other day, I think things are going to get difficult again. I'm not changing my positioning, so I just want to be very upfront about this. I'm not changing my positioning. I have built a significant amount of spot positioning. I am going to be the first one to admit that I'm not going to change anything or try to be too nimble around now, because I think this is a time when if you have a decent amount of positioning built up from lower prices, I mean, you're really trying to get that little bit more and time the market that much more, when I could just focus on intraday trading and be happy with my spot positioning. And also, from a tax advantage standpoint, I think I've built positions right now that are advantageous to hold over a year because of where we are in the cycle. So maybe that only means we hit 45K. Maybe that only means, you know, the point is, I think that when I consider, like, long-term capital gain costs, my cost basis right now, I don't want to try to make too many adjustments. So even though I think that it looks like big picture, maybe momentum is beginning to diverge, and I said on a stream the other day, I said that I think the ETF trade is largely priced in. What that means is, like, it's what we see already. It's the market puts in a bulk of the move in a short amount of time, and then you're kind of just left to, you know, twiddle your fingers and hopefully fuck off for a little bit, not micromanage positions, while prices range and while time builds before the next major leg. Could mean we move lower, or could mean we move a little higher. I just think that most of the excitement around the trade is already in the chart. I think the benefit of it obviously going through is tremendous, but I do think it ends up being more or less like in the short term, not a sell the news thing, but a sell the listing, which means that prices do pull back. But again, don't want to micromanage things too much. The equity indices, so the S&P, the NASDAQ, it looks like momentum is beginning to diverge. Like I said, CPI tomorrow, dollar getting its ass kicked. Let me turn down the background noise a little bit. Dollar's getting its ass kicked, and you know, I wouldn't want to be a seller of the dollar into CPI. I could see, you know, there's possibility that CPI comes in hot and equities get knocked off their pedestal a little bit, and then a sharp move in equities after a loss of momentum. And again, positioning is starting to indicate that there's posts like, for example, it's right now the price of so we'll go back in a second, take a look at the price of BTC at exactly 10:30. Right now there are posts along the lines of like bears finally capitulating, bear market over. You're starting to see the, you know, things like put call ratio begin to indicate that retail and people in the stock market are reaching a little bit more through options than just outright buying shares. So I don't know. I'm cautious. That's the best way I could put it. I don't want to make any predictions, but I just think that the best way I could put it, honestly, is what I said during the hero stream, which is there's no really obvious fat pitches right now. Like, the really easy trades are done. I think for at least the next few months. So the really easy trade was, so we're back at the high of yesterday's value. We completely retraced that move down through. Just going to pay attention over here for either some sign of absorption or just a loss of momentum, because this snapback might have been largely due to positioning and people sort of shorting into that hole. So if we have a loss of momentum right around this this level, probably look to fade that back through yesterday's value for at least maybe a 20-30 point move if I'm able to pay attention to it while I'm streaming. But the obvious trades this year were like buying 20K. So I didn't buy 20K. I ended up buying, I think, 20,600. So that was the criteria I needed for the setup. But again, the positioning down there was ripe for the setup. And then buying, like I said, the first time that you heard about BlackRock and their ETF. But I mean, after that, it's still summer. It's still lighter in terms of volume and liquidity. I just don't know if there's nothing that like stands out. Like, those were the easiest trades, and it's not likely that unless you're in the middle of a bull market that you're just going to be able to, continue to hit things out of the park on a week by week basis. All right, so I'm gonna look at the chat in a second, but I do want to focus on this because as soon as I start talking about things that are like current events or relevant to BTC, and even though I have everything set up the right way, it's just you're immediately taken out of your headspace. I don't know, maybe someone is good at doing this and they could stream and trade at the same time perfectly. But I know that the times when I trade, I do actually have to shut up a little bit. Let's see. So we'll give this a little bit of time to develop, because honestly, I have a tendency to, during streams, so for anyone who's just watching this and hasn't tuned in, almost all the streams where I've traded, we've left the stream in the green. So put points up on the board, traded well. There was one stream where I didn't, the second to last stream, I believe that. But what I do notice is that I trade more during streams. And listen, the streams are meant for trading, right? Or ideally I want to trade during the streams, but I think because they're trading streams, I tend to force trades more just to put trades on. And I'll be honest, one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because it is the summer months. It is lighter. I'm not trading with full position sizes. If it was after Labor Day, I probably wouldn't be doing these streams. I'll probably do something different, just because this is the time to be in the market. This is the time to be in the market, full attention, full size. I don't mind punting, quarter size, eighth size during the summer to do these streams and hopefully give you guys something to work with. But again, forcing trades, and I think one thing that'll help me reduce that during the stream is actually either using a higher periodicity in terms of volume, or even just using a time-based candlestick. So this one is a 2,500 trade rotation, which is going to be closer to, honestly, a 1 to 3 minute anyway. So you see how the 1 minute chart is very close to the 2,500 volume chart. So it's 2,500 contracts. And that's what I want to do. I want to replicate what I would normally have as like a standard time chart with a non-time based rotation. When I say rotation, I'm referring to the candle. So rotation high, low, should be easy to understand. But I just want to see activity. If you're using a lower time setting, a lower tick setting, you just see a ton of activity. You might look at a level being retested and think that, the level's done its job, but it's really no activity that took place there yet. You have to remember, I'm looking at a fast tape, basically. I have to give this a little bit more time to develop, even though it's not a time-based candle. I have to look for a little bit more evidence, rather. So I kind of want to short this. See if we get another push up. So I have a stop above that high. So just quick short scalp. So it's actually a really good placement for a trade, even if the trade doesn't work out. So we rotated back down through yesterday's value. Really strong move down. Strong bounce up, more one-sided on the way up. So we built value on the way down. But now we're retesting the high of yesterday's value, and we're under today's POC. So it's the optimal sticky point, honestly, from a risk-reward standpoint, and the fact that I'm able to place a decent stop above today's POC. So a move like this, this might not be done. We might not rotate lower again, but I think that there's chances are that we rotate back down, at least to test the midpoint of yesterday's value again and fill out today's profile a little bit more. So coin continuing to still rip. Let's look at the S&P. See, this is dangerous because we could just be retesting yesterday's value area high and setting up for another move up. But we haven't had any kind of real pullback at all in this move. It's been pretty one-sided. All right, so let's take a look at the BTC chart. We'll leave this on. If we get stopped out, we get stopped out. It's the optimal stop place, in my opinion, anyway, based on just rotation size and based on where we are. All right, so BTC price. 1030. So the opening price was, what do we got? Open, that's the NASDAQ, excuse me. $30,512. Stopped out of that position. 30,512. So let's take a look at, whoops. One sec. So let's see if this sets up again. There's a lot of absorption up here. So far, I mean. All right. Bear with me. I'm just going through the YouTube, making sure I don't have anything doxed. Okay, so what did I say the opening price was? All right. Yeah, so we're back above yesterday's value area high, and there's a decent amount of absorption up here so far. So I don't want to just sell this as it is. And when I'm saying absorption, I mean the buyers are actually stepping in right here and bidding this. So honestly, to short this again, I'd rather see that we're sort of like we are right now. One more failure right at the level. If we start rotating back down under that level, sort of right where I got in position a second ago before I was stopped out, I'll probably just tag this back on. So what was the opening price again? I'm going to tag that back on. If we get stopped out again, we get stopped out again. It is what it is. So opening price. Sorry. BTC was 30,512. And here are the answers. I'm gonna get stopped out again, aren't I? Fantastic. 30,512. So who's the closest? I see one that's very close so far. 519. Looks like that 519. So one answer is sufficient. Obviously, you can't answer multiple times. So we have a 519 so far. $5.19 so far. This looks like it's going to stop me out again. S&P's leading up. Just flatten that out rather than just being stopped out. Watch it end up going up anyway. 519. So as soon as I see that you have multiple answers, I mean, all right, looks like 519 it is. So DICH. DICH. Send me a DM on Twitter. $200. Let's get behind this again now that I could actually monitor it. What is going on? No. Got to pull back in the S&P. Let's see if NAS follows. Not a pullback, but doing what kind of looking for the NAS to do, which is rotate back down. I'm just going to close this out. So being that I'm not trading with full position size, I don't have a problem just manually closing myself out. We're not even, it's not like we're close to a loss limit or anything. You guessed 315. Where'd you guess 315? At Old Toby. I'll have to verify that. So send me a DM on Twitter with a link to that comment. What's coin at now? Still pushing. Coin is just ripping. BTC is at 30,005. I mean, NAS is still bid. Completely back above yesterday's value. Back above today's POC. So two stop outs in a row. One manual, obviously. You guessed it, to the decimal point on threads. Well, shame on you for saying threads. Or for being on threads. Yeah, if it's even easier, just... If I'm missing one, just direct message me with your post. I mean, this looks like a short to me. I just don't want to... I can smash it again early. Yeah, I've split the sessions up before. I don't really see necessarily the most value in doing that. I mean, overall, if I'd have to say, like, what I just qualitatively, Bitcoin is still holding up. Like, even if there was going to be, if there is a loss of momentum and there is going to be some kind of pullback to like 28, 28.5, which is really what I would honestly expect. Bitcoin is still really just, it's holding up here, and we're 5 days left. So it's not like it's meaningful right now, but we have an inside week setup. You know, an inside week setup, basically just going to look to take a trade in the direction of the break. Let me look back at the chat. Uneventful stream so far. Yeah, Velo is Velo, whatever it is. Velo's great. I've used it. Let's see. Just going through the chat right now. Oh, thanks, man. Abe, I appreciate the thanks. Gonna get one more spike on this and then follow the S&P. Looks like it's starting to drift, to dwindle down a little bit up here. And the S&P is pulling back now. Kind of close this gap out. Honestly, I'll see if I can actually add to this if it comes. If you got to move further up. Setup. Let me look at the chat again. Gonna take those points for 12 points to cut half my loss from earlier. And now we'll see if we get some kind of real setup up here. Trading back under today's POC, back in yesterday's value. And if we have some kind of throwback, and again, sign of absorption right under 15,200. Maybe we'll look to play that deeper rotation back. But I feel like during the stream, if I get stopped out twice, I have like this itchiness to undo that, even if it means taking a couple scalps. Where's Apple at? See, one thing to note is Apple's off the highs. Microsoft's off the highs. Nvidia is off the highs. Palantir looks good. Tesla off the highs. And these are obviously major components of the S&P. Now the kind of divergences we have right now in momentum, they could be easily undone. But I do just think that it is often good to just be a little bit more cautious when they show up on the high time frame. They could take a while to play out. Again, they can be undone, but I think more often than not, it just makes sense to at least trim something and lay off the gas pedal a little bit on the long side of things. So again, we're retesting yesterday's value. I mean, if this just holds like this, we didn't take the overnight high right now. So I don't know, I wouldn't want to bang the short side too aggressively unless we're back in yesterday's value again. You got the S&P pushing up still. There's SPY. Yeah, it is. The NQCVD. But I mean, yeah, that much selling for really not much of a pullback right now. Again, at sort of an important level. Upper right hand corner of the screen, that is this is Centerpoint Pro Dash Trader. See, I have this overarching feel right now that we are gonna continue to pull back. So I'm kind of leaning towards the setup where we trade back in yesterday's value and then end up filling out more of that over the week. So again, just to point that out, this is the excess at yesterday's low, but then this is yesterday's value, this blue box. So I'm kind of leaning on, I'm feeling like that's more likely, but this is a level to hold if we're just going to continue to see value migration higher. But I mean, this is only over the last day and a half that we've had this, where, you know, we broke out of value. Yesterday was a wild trading day. And then, you know, in a strong trend, if we weren't losing momentum, I might be looking at this a little bit differently and saying, okay, yeah, clearly we're migrating higher completely, no value overlap really. POC, you know, bulk of this volume taking place at yesterday's value area high, this level being retested. You know, this is a good level to long, at least back in the direction of the highs. And then if we go back a little bit and we look at just what's ahead, what's above us, there's no single prints from last week's session. So this open session right here, if I close this candle, so this TPO profile, there's no singles there, but you could see how the latter half of the session pretty much just gapped down. So we cleaned up positioning on the way down. I mean, we filled out a portion of that. If you were looking at just this in isolation, just whoops, excuse me. If you were looking at just this period, that would be an area of singles, right? A little bit of value established there, and then another area of singles. So we filled out this up to the first high of those singles. So that up to that. Again, looking at the TPO chart. Sticky at an area where you'd expect it to be sticky, right? That little build up in value, brief, right? Just brief consolidation before breaking down lower. But then you have another area of singles. So sort of a gap in prices from 15,264 to 15,292. Yeah, that was the retest, huh? If we pull back a little bit and see a rebid, then maybe we are just looking at taking the overnight high. Let's see if this level holds. There's not a whole lot of interest in selling below 94. I mean, just looking at the latest activity. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that long. See if we could get a little bit more of a pullback to 15,187. I mean, the S&P's pushing up. We'll give this some room. Maybe we're going to end up filling out that earlier gap and testing the overnight highs. So far, it's bid. I mean, what are you going to do? Not take the long, even though you think that the short's more likely? So you want it to push from here. Push. Seems like it's having trouble right under 200. Like someone is selling that. See if we can continue to push. Come on. We'll give that a little bit of breathing room. Take a look at the chat. Yeah, the crypto price winner. So the level was named, but there's some confusion about who won. I went through them and found what I thought was closest based on the submissions, but I said if anyone gave a closer submission to DM me the link to their actual post. I mean, this looks like it's bid right now and it wants to pop up, but we're just waiting. I'm just gonna take that. Take another 3 points. Let me look through the chat. So once I'm in position, I look at the chat. It's like impossible to stay looking at the actual flow. Let's see. Let me just scroll through this. Hood chart is similar to coin, huh? Let's take a look at that. So it's actually just stay a little patient for the rest of the stream. We haven't taken the overnight high yet, so we'll see if we could push that. So far, I've just like pulled myself out of a few winning trades. Again, sometimes it's easy to hold them during a stream. Sometimes it's easier to just like have an itchy trigger finger. But Hood, real quick. Arval is up on the day. It's almost the same as coin. And yeah, big gap up. This is the Hood chart on the upper right hand corner of your screen. Intraday and weekly and then daily. I mean, that's a good sign, right? Maybe the retail is coming back. One thing that I mentioned this. One thing that I'm keeping an eye on is GME going into the movie release. So the GameStop movie that's coming out. I think it's possible maybe that inspires, I don't know, either people that were trading during that insanity or a new set of retail to get active again or get active for the first time and show an interest in markets. Maybe like the reverse effect of the movie The Big Short. We'll have a generation of bulls only. The Big Short inspired a lot of bears. Well, the problem is that markets have drifted up over time, and it always pays to be long biased than short biased over a longer picture, right? But then, yeah, the movie The Big Short inspired a bunch of like Sorosians, super contrarian first timers betting against, you know, markets reflexively just because they saw someone do that in a movie. And obviously in that case it was different context, but or very specific context. So we made a new high, but no new buyers really. I'm going to tag short on this. So just something to notice real quick. And this is something we'll trim this right away if it ends up being the case that this is just an early read. I mean, so far it doesn't look like an early read. Quick scalp. All right, that was a good real-time trade. So ended up taking back those points. Now we're green on the day. But again, cut the trade early. It's probably going to be something. Maybe it's something that runs. I keep saying that because I'm getting in trades and getting out of them way quicker than I would if I wasn't streaming. But I gave the disclaimer in the beginning, mentioned, why that probably is the case. Maybe it'll be easier to sort of get into a cadence or a rhythm in the future. But something that, again, the problem is, so here's one of the issues. During the streams, what I've noticed is I am taking sort of suboptimal entries because the setup might have set up, but because I am focusing on the stream also, I'm not taking the first sign of the setup. So if the purpose of the stream is to scalp during the stream, we're not really swing trading during the stream, and to teach order flow, then one of the more important details of that is being the first to act and not letting things sit. So when a setup arrives that's just purely based on flow, if I'm arriving to it after a few seconds, the trade is probably already, it's already in progress. So a couple trades I've taken, I've kind of like front ran a level, taken a trade as it's gotten a little bit away from the level. And the problem with that is my stop placement isn't going to vary much in a scalp. I want to get the best possible entry. So instead, I'm entering in a position, moving the stop a little wider to accommodate for the fact that the entry's poor. You can see how this goes wrong. And this is not something that I would do in my personal trading outside of the stream. But again, we're trading a fraction of the size, and for educational purposes only. But this setup right here, so again, move outside of yesterday's value back towards today's opening range high, sort of the last quadrant of it. But what stood out is actually this run up. So this sharp move, we'll zoom in on that. We're on 2,500 trades. We'll just go to like a 500 volume chart. So this move in particular, bust out my drawing tool. So we're talking a second ago about this possibly being iffy about the setup, right? Kind of biased short, but if the long arises and we're going to hold yesterday's value and we're going to hold today's POC, then maybe we're looking at a move back to today's high at least. So we're focused here. We get the move off. I end up bailing on the long before the bulk of this move, but then the remainder of this move is on less buying volume. So what you're looking at is just it's a lack of initiative. It's a lack of aggressiveness by buyers for this particular rotation up. So it's possibly a sign of a lack of eagerness, a lack of interest. Depending on the situation, there's a lot of different ways you can interpret this. But seeing this and acting fast often gives you at least that quick scalp opportunity. So you have less aggressive buying coming in, you have a bigger move, and this move was much choppier before, so it's not the cleanest setup. Clean setup would be sharp move up, and then a case where you had sharp move up, but a less intense move up in CVD. The trouble with this setup is this is a CVD that is kind of skewed already because of the price action leading into it. Rose over time throughout the session. You had that amount of buying come in to take us that high, took us to a new high, didn't see the aggressiveness continue to follow through. Not the cleanest setup, but a setup worth taking nevertheless. Yeah, so the size I'm trading during streams is between 1 and 3 contracts. So that's what I'm willing to trade during streams. Trading like true size, trading what I would normally trade outside of streams is just, it's already difficult enough to trade during the stream. It would just be wasting money, honestly. I mean, even though almost all of the streams, with the exception of one where I've traded, we've traded successfully and been green. So almost all streams have been profitable, like 99% of them. Even so, I think that if I traded full size, I'd probably be either really shitty at talking during the stream or really shitty at trading. It would be one or the other. So now one contract in the NASDAQ. So we're trading the NASDAQ right now. Just to give you an idea of one size notional is 10 times, I mean, you could do the math right away. Oh no, excuse me, 20. So 20, and then we're doing a 196. Excuse me, no. That's your notional contract value. Wait, think of the multipliers. 1 second. Might be making a mistake there with, so NASDAQ futures margin, contract specs. You don't normally think of trading futures in the notional contract value, but it is. It's 20. So that was it. So again, the notional contract value of an NQ contract is $300,000. Wow. All right. Who's pulling back right now? GME. Looks like everybody's pulling back a little bit. So yeah. Yeah, so the flatten button closes positions at market. You could make these settings however you want them. What was I going to say? My normal trading, I'm also not using this. So I'm not using the mouse. So I have see if you guys can see it in the camera. So you see that sort of, well, actually you can just pull this down here. So this is a stream deck. So instead of using the mouse, I'm just using that, and it makes it much easier to trade fast, at least. So again, this is this is an important level. It's today's POC. It's yesterday's value area high. Yeah, so I think you could use order flow in alts as well, of course. I mean, 100%. Use order flow to trade anything besides like FX, because it's more opaque. It's OTC. It's an OTC market for the most part. FX. So yeah. This looks like it's kind of dying again right here, but it's at like, I don't want to short what would technically be a support level often for me, because we have migrated higher, just because of the way the morning opened, that I'm a little bit cautious, and because high time frame, it looks like we're losing a little momentum. If it wasn't the case, so just to give you some context, if it wasn't the case that high time frame looked like it was losing momentum and we were still kind of just moving strong every single day, a move outside of prior day value and a retest of prior day value area high and a clean retest, and it's going both ways right here, basically. Flow wise, it would be for me, I'd be looking to buy that for just another rotation higher. So because I think that it's possible we're losing a little momentum and we see markets chop more and range more, given today's profile, yesterday's profile, and today's sort of top heavy profile, I don't know. I am just biased towards this. If you ask me what I think is going to happen over the next couple of days, I'm more prone to thinking that this area fills out. So see if we could get a setup back in value. We'll add one, and then if we throw back, we'll add the remainder. because now we're back in yesterday's value. We're back under today's POC. Looks like a little bit more selling starting to come in. So ideally, you want to see this move pretty quickly. Let's see if we could sell it. So looking for maybe a squirty move back to the level that we could add another contract behind. Maybe we'll just take this scalp and be happy with that. Just take that off. All right, so another 6 points. So ideally, what I would like is some kind of squirt back to that level, some quick throwback to sell. And I want to put on trades, especially during the stream, because what I'm noticing is that, again, even so, getting those poor entries, it makes it a little bit less. Good entries allow for better communication. So I'll put it that way. If I have a really good entry, I'm able to focus on the chat more. Whereas if I have a poor entry and I'm kind of chasing position a little bit, then I'm more prone to focusing on that. Most of my trading is intraday, but you know, intraday doesn't necessarily mean scalping for ticks. So during the stream, I think it's easier to just scalp, talk about flow, unless we're in a really great location to build a swing. Trading intraday and trading intraday momentum and taking those scalps, it makes sense during the stream. There's varying measures of what people would consider scalping, though. So for example, some people might call scalping trading for 15, 20 point rotations. Some people might call scalping trading for ticks. So, you know, there's 4 ticks in a point. For me, I'm not scalping for ticks. You know, in my personal trading, I'm more of an intraday momentum trader. I guess that's the best way to put it. So I'm looking to capture at least a decent multiple of daily ATR. Or at least daily ATR. That'd be a good goal to hit. BTC is moving up. But, you know, it depends. Depends on the conditions. I think when most people think of swing trading in crypto, they think of position trading, holding positions for a long period of time. The best way I could put it is my trading varies from holding times of 2 minutes to 2 weeks. Now where we are in the cycle, I'm holding longer positioning, more than I ever have before. So, but that's again because I have a long-term view on BTC and ETH. So let's see if we get a failure through and back under. But ideally, so remember I said earlier, just a second ago, I'd like to see this move quick. So the squirt back, it's the best way to describe just a quick throwback before continuation. What you don't want to do, I think, is chase this, again, holding on to the bias of short bias, and think that maybe this is the throwback that you've had time to sell now. Because like I said, I mean, this could just go, it could always go any way, right? But it's entirely likely that we just get this retest of this value area high, and we do test today's opening range high, which we have yet to do. So I really want to be really choosy about how I determine control at this level. So when I use a term like squirt, it's a quick move, right? An exhaustive sort of spike back, immediate sign of failure, and a lot of the times when you have a one-sided move like this off of the low, you know, you should kind of move back with the same velocity or same intensity. All right, just gonna long this level. See if we get a hold, and then I mean, it's not looking definitive enough for me to make a really strong commitment either side. See if we add another. Give it a sec, pull back. Don't want it to hang out in there. Nah, just bail on it. So you got to be able to take a loss quickly. So ideally you get something. So I thought we were going to get it right there, so I just added one contract in case. Ideally you get something like this, and we're back above. Wow, BTC is, yeah. Spiked up to 30,008 again. I don't know, this level is sketchy. I just think that if it was going to rotate lower, it would do it fast. So maybe that long was the right one to be in. I cut myself out too early. It's not, I mean, it's not breaking down. We're only in one contract, so I mean, if it skirts to 15,160, it's at 170, it's not bad. But I don't know. This feels like it's something that could hold yesterday's value area high, and we just haven't had a rotation back to the opening range high yet. Usually we're going to take both sides of the range. I mean, so far selling is coming in and we're walking slightly higher off of this little low. So I'll give this some room actually. I'd prefer to add to strength. So if we're going to dip lower, I'd prefer not to just add down here. I'd prefer that I'm adding back above my entry. Almost always, by the way. Unless I'm building some kind of swing where that's my goal from the start, to build a position over a range. Intraday, scalping momentum, I'd rather add to strength and add to a position that's in the green. And that level's retesting now. It's just one of those things right now. It's not, I don't have high conviction, so we're not really in much of a position. Saying lag reaction of coin. Yeah, that could be it. So we're retesting that 170 level. Bid's firming up. As long as we hold that, give this a little breathing room. It's ugly. place to stop, just in case. It's only one contract, so it's not like it's a big deal, but the S&P is pushing up. And it's almost never that you're going to see a low like this just get left behind like that. Ideally, we'd be building a little bit higher above that value, but we'll see. Again, this would probably be the best location to add to reduce some of that pain from being long up there. But just would rather add back above. See if we get back there. Hold on 1 second, I had a phone call. Ooh, big rejection again by BTC, huh? Wow. Was that the same kind of rejection as yesterday? Yeah, I don't know. This looks, like I said, it could go. This is a shitty setup. It's back inside yesterday's value. It's like so easy to just flatten out right here too. But the S&P is pushing up. I mean, you're getting buyers come in now, but it's not really lifting it too far off this low. I don't know. I'm just gonna ditch it. It's not worth it. We're back in yesterday's value. Like this could easily just rotate lower again. We're just having a scratchy stream. Let's see. So it's like another wipe of positioning on BTC. Sec. There's no buying coming in now to lift this off. The little bit of buying is getting absorbed. Fuck it. As far as yeah, BTC goes, it looked like the same sort of positioning unwind as yesterday. Ooh, that's ugly. Some alerts. Damn, yeah. Come on, value, do your thing. I don't know what we're listening to, by the way. You guys have any questions? This is a very anticlimactic stream. Basically just in and out of profit scratch trading. Taking way too many trades. CPI tomorrow, yeah. I mean, it's just not giving up in yesterday's profile. It's not giving us any kind of rotation. We had one rotation lower. It's not like there's a ton of selling that's getting absorbed into this low. ATR is a simple indicator to set up. Just type in ATR in your indicators and it'll show you what the ATR is based on the candle setting you're looking at. Get rid of that drawing. Yeah, this is boring. We're just chopping down here and quick burp up. Yeah, I can't hold this. This is just shitty. Don't have the patience for it. If I wasn't streaming right now, what I would probably do is just put on a short and step away with my stop above the high. I'd probably be at the gym by now. Zipping on pre-workout. But now it's like I need it in my... It's in my bones. I need to get back in the green for the day. We're flat. Now, my personal trading, I have a loss limit. So I mean, we're down a point today. We're down 1.75 points, so we're flat. But if I'm trading full size and like, let's say I have a day where things are not working out for me and I'm over trading like yesterday. Yesterday I didn't hit my loss limit, but I hit my mental limit. So yesterday I was down, I think it was, what did I post yesterday? 6,900. Let's see some real quick. One sec. That's today, but we'll go back. So what's today? Today's gotta go. I don't know if it includes. So this is weird. You have to do like. No, it actually doesn't show. So I was looking to see if I could. Sierra is weird. You have to like pick the day before, but it's gonna throw it off. But I think yesterday was like 6,900 or 6,800 I lost, and that wasn't my loss limit, but I shouldn't have traded during the day. Once my schedule changed, and I couldn't stream anymore, I also had to cancel a podcast that I was going to be on. So I had to cancel 2 things, and then I was just like in between my office going back and forth, throwing a trade on. I think the first 2 trades just didn't work out, and I tried to trade it. I was like revenge trading, and then I knew that I couldn't even sit in front of the desk, and I was frustrated, and I'm still putting on trade. Just wasn't a good day, so I ended up just scratching the day. Not scratching, right, because it was down. I was down, but normally I have a loss limit. So Sierra chart actually lets you hard code a loss limit onto the platform. Not hard coded. It's something that you could set yourself, right? It's global settings, profit and loss management, and you could pick. So my setting is if I lose, I won't say the exact amount, but if I lose X amount of money, my Sierra chart it's turned off for I'm done for 30 minutes. You have to, some of you might have to set this up through your broker. So turn it off for 30 minutes, and then if I lose a certain value beyond that, it's done for the day. Just never makes sense. It is what it is. It's an amount that I'm already accepting, right? That I'm willing to lose. And you're going to lose a lot trading. So if you're finding yourself getting pissed off that you're in the red, there's many times when I've gotten close to my daily loss limit and I've traded myself all the way back out of the red well into the green. But then there's also times when I've been up and I've, killed my day by trading past 2 p.m. So anyway, now if anyone has a background in prop and traded prop, you know that this is something that is a standard either way. So I don't even know what to make of this right now. This is shitty price action. Like we're back in yesterday's value. There's no slipperiness at all. But it kind of makes sense because it's not like it was one-sided on the way down. We have this. Again, one of the things I mentioned was the halfway point through yesterday's value, right? So as possible TP zone or bounce zone, and it's like normally I would want to see this move pretty quickly. It's still an area where you could potentially expect a bounce. So it's not like you expect this to just move down straight, but it's taking some work. So yesterday's value area high and value area low are right here. It doesn't necessarily need to mean anything, right? This could very well form support right here, bid off this consolidation, which is, part of today's session, and then continue to chop, or who knows? There's no clear setup. Coin finally pulling back. I mean, coin is really extended on the day. We haven't really had a test of VWAP. And after this kind of extension, I think you could expect to see a bounce there. So around 87 forward, we'll look to see if we get some kind of bid there. Maybe we'll end up longing coin during the stream. We'll buy, 500 shares. That's if we get a splash down there. I mean, put a lot on us having an initial response off of VWAP after this kind of extended move. This music actually is pretty bad. Where is the music? Oh, there we go. I don't know. I'll probably wrap the stream up. Not as exciting as an extreme that not as exciting as I would have expected. I'm hitting the mouth dry period. Coffee's done. I had a just before the stream. I had a protein shake. Don't have a bottle of water near me. Feeling a little parched. Feeling like my sentences are going to start sounding either incoherent or just not understandable. Yeah, anyway. Probably going to wrap it up, guys. It's a flat stream. Really nothing to show for it. It's 11:44. I mean, I could continue to trade. But I don't know. I don't see a real reason to make any moves. Be sure to check out the links below. There's some tools down there. I think all the things I use are down there. More specifically, the Discord link is down there, and the Discord link has a resources. Yep, can't talk. Need some water. The Discord link has a resources channel that is packed with useful tools and information. I'm like really trying to make sure that my tongue doesn't stick to my mouth when I talk. About to run to the kitchen and get a glass of water and then go to the gym. Yeah, so anyway, today's Tuesday, so this stream was not planned. I want to stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So that means there's another stream tomorrow. And I'll check the DMs to see who won the contest and send you over $200. If there's ever a time when there's duplicate guesses, I'm just going to pay everybody. I don't care about that. So if 2 people guess the same number, if 5 people guess the same number, then everyone's getting $200. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate you. I know it was probably a pretty fucking boring stream because all we did was chop around a level and I chopped back and forth myself. So yeah, tomorrow's stream is planned Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think I'm doing a better job at these streams the way they're set up, but I got to make sure I have my water. I got to make sure I have some gum. We can't run into any of these speech issues during because you guys are going to think I'm drinking during stream. All right, that's it.